That's why I think everybody in this sport, or any of this automotive, any motorsport stuff in general, they're way luckier than the chair-born guys that go to work, come home, crack out a beer, sit in a lazy chair, and you scream and yell at the TV all night long. You know, that noise.
Call that Netflix and chill.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I don't want to ever do.
No, that's so boring. So boring, dude. So boring. I think we're all fortunate because we are doing some cool. I'm Jake Burton from Dayton, Ohio. I drive a Wild Child mega truck. This is the fourth version of my truck. The first version started out as a '99 crew cab Chevy long bed on 2.5 tons and 16 928s. I think that truck was together maybe a year, and we kept taking it out, and every time I took it out, it got dumber and dumber and dumber. Started losing parts, took the motor from the front, put it in the back, lost that back seat. You know, gear had blackout really, really bad, and I forgot there was people in the truck, and it just got dumped. Version number 1 ended up going through 3 changes on its own, rolled it, and inherently we did version number 2, which was another crew cab, but bigger blower, bigger motor, lowered the truck more, this, that, and the other, and I ran that truck maybe 6 months and cut it all to pieces and then built this guy right here. And that was, I think I finished this truck 4 years ago. My personality, I just can't leave alone, and I'm all the time. As soon as this one's done, I'm already thinking about the next one, you know? And this one has, I don't know, it's got a spirit of its own. You know, it has character. To me, it's a life form, and I don't want to cut it up. So I'm gonna leave this guy just like he is forever. I'm not gonna get rid of him and keeping him, but then I'm gonna start on number 5. My favorite thing to do with the truck is just lining it up and hitting jumps. I just like doing big hilling holes, big jumps, and just stunts, stupid. This past October, we went to Michigan Mud Jam, or where they do Michigan Mud Jam in Hale, Michigan, and we set a mega truck record for 175 foot in Hale, Michigan this past October. I came up with the name Wild Child. Like, I've been ate up with cars and my entire life. Like, that's all I've cared about, and that's all I've ever wanted to do, whether it's hot rods or big trucks or low riders or anything. So when I was younger, we didn't have a whole ton of money, so I'd save up lunch money and buy model cars. And I was kind of an introvert. I'd sit in my room at night building model cars, but I was also a hairband guy. And back in the day, probably 5th, 6th grade, 85, 86, Wasp was my band. Wild Child was my song. So I'm sitting there in the shop at night by myself, working on version number 1, listening to Pandora. Wasp comes on with Wild Child, and it just hit me. I'm like, this is full circle, man. I was building monster truck models when I was a kid, listening to this, and here I am building my first mega truck, and this song comes on. I was like, it was fate. That's Wild Child. The people that I've met doing this stuff here are really the only people I want to hang out with. I mean, they're the coolest I've ever met in my life. And it sucks because my really good friends now there's states in between us. When I was building the first truck, I didn't know shit about megas. I'd never even been to an event. I accidentally found him on YouTube one night, cruising around with one of my friend's kids, little kid. We're sitting there watching YouTube, and we just happened across mega trucks, and man, that sucked me in bad. I kept coming across Yankee Lake Truck Night, Trucks Crawling Wild at Truck Night, and seeing Scott Krisnar, and then Josh Foster and the Florida Horde, and then Matt Smith and the Dirt Pro from down south, and then the Mud Pro, Sean Gudo, Big Daddy. You know, there's guys like that I kept watching, and I'm like, these motherfuckers are having too much fun. I gotta get some of that. You know, so those guys are really what sucked me in. I'm not gonna have any regrets. You know, and that's the thing, like doing the jump in Michigan. You know, it's like people think I'm a nutbag. Some do, some don't. Some people get it. But I want to be able to sit there when I'm like 85, 90 years old and decrepit as you know, to say, yeah, I did that. I did everything I wanted to do in life. I got no regrets. I don't want to sit there and be like, man, I sure wish I would have done that. That'd have been fun. No, that was fun. I did that.